Hey guys, and welcome to this tutorial for a smelter. Today we're going to be messing around in Texit. I'm going to show you guys how to make it and how to use it. Enjoy! To start off the smelter, you're going to need a book. The book is called Materials and You. To make the book, you need two things. One is a blank pattern. A blank pattern is created with two sticks and two planks in that fashion. If you put a blank pattern with a book, you will get Materials and Me. So if I grab this book and put it in my inventory, when we open this book, you will see this kind of menu. So there is a smeltery option right here, which is the one we're going to start with today. So if I click on smeltery, it will tell you exactly how to make it, which is the size can be a 3x3 all the way up to an 11x11, and any height from a minimum of 2. Larger structures increase both the number of items you can smelt and the liquid capacity. And you can keep reading on for the seared furnace, as well as the tinker tank, which stores the liquids. We will get into those later, but for now we're going to focus on the smelter. The first item you're going to need for the smelter is grout. Grout is created using gravel, sand, and clay. If you put it in this fashion, you will get 8 grout. Or you can do a smaller one to get 2 grout using this. Once you have your grout, you're going to go over to a furnace and you're going to put the grout in here. The grout will turn into a seared brick. Taking that seared brick and putting it in a 4x4 fashion will give you seared bricks. This is one of the first items we will need, as well as putting seared bricks completely around a furnace will give you the smeltery controller. And the last item you will need is a seared gauge. If you take your bricks and wrap it around glass, you will get one of these. The smallest you can make this was a 3x3. Grab your bricks. That is the smallest you can make it. The next step would be to wrap it. Next, grab your seared furnace or your smeltery controller. Place it right there. Put your seared gauge right next to it, and lastly close off the building. And here you'll see we now have the ability to use this. So when it's working correctly, it'll be light up with the fire. If I right click on this, we can see what the capacity is. You can see the fuel, which is lava, and then you can see how many blocks you can put in at one time. So if I go in and I grab a bucket of lava, grab 2 of them, and if you right click on the seared gauge, it will now fill it. So that is now full. This thing is fully operational. If we put some iron ore in here, you can see that it instantly fills it in. You can see the meter slowly going up, and you can see this obviously going down. Once the iron ore is fully processed, it will go into the smeltery and it will be a liquid. Something to know that is said you can make this as tall as you need to. So if I added another layer, and this is where you don't need to use the same controls as below. That is a 2-1. You can see that we now have double the space. You can put a full stack in here. So if I shift right click, you can see that it fills. It only puts 1 in at a time. So this is why having a bigger smeltery actually works a lot better. But over here, you can see we now have molten iron. And you can see that if we put 1 ingot in here, it equals 2 blocks. So we put 9, or we put 6, and we got a total of 12 out. Now, the way to get this out requires more tools. So inside here we have a couple more tools we're going to need. The first is called a seared drain. So if I click this and I bring it in, the next item we're going to need is called a seared faucet, a casting basin, and then lastly a casting table. So with the casting table, you will also need 1 ingot of any type. In this case, I just have an iron ingot. I'm also going to grab some more seared drains to show you guys how it works. So if we grab this seared drain and we go right in the middle here and say we go 1, 2, and 3, you'll see that this now shut off because it was requiring that there. And we go 1, 2, and 3. And now it's back and running. And so if I grab that seared faucet and I attach it to this, we now have a working smeltery. But we need something to put the molten iron into. And so we're going to break a hole here, here, and here. And so in this case, if we grab the casting basin, put those down. Now if we right click on the faucet, you'll see that it starts to pour the molten iron out. It will make 1 full block. So once it is full, it actually has a cooldown. As you see, the progress there is the molten iron cooling. On the other side, we will do the next kind of block you're going to need. So one of the fun facts is if I break this, even though we have the molten iron in there, obviously if I go over the smeltery when it's working, so say I put this back, you can see that it's still in there. It saves your progress even if you break the block. So we have the seared drain. We are going to put the faucet on real quick, and we're going to break the hole. So the other one you can use is the casting table. So if I put these down, so these don't work naturally. You need to have something to cast into. So in this case, if I take this iron ingot and so this was bad on me. So if I put gold in here and I put this iron ingot down, if you have to make the cast out of gold, thankfully gold smelts pretty quick. So once this is fully done, we now have gold in our smelter. So if you want to reorder these, you click on the one that you want to bring, and it brings it all the way to the bottom. The one on the bottom is always the one that pours. So now that we have gold in here, we have the ingot here. If I right click, it will pour gold onto the iron ingot. It will cool down, the ingot will break, and now we have an ingot casket. So if I right click on this, we see ingot cast. And so now, if I click on iron, and I right click on it, it is going to push all that liquid into the cast, and it is going to make ingots. And this is how you will make your ingots from now on. And if we go over to this other side, we'll see here now, we see that we have this block. If we right click on it, we pick it up, we now have a block of iron. And now that you've seen a working base model, the 3x3, I'll show you one I typically make, which is quite a bit bigger, and it stores a lot more. So I will get this up and running and be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. This is typically about the size I make, maybe one smaller. And on this side you can see we have all the different basins, so when you start smelting tons of metal, so say I put all 46 in here, and since this is so big, it actually fits them easily and still has plenty of space. As you can see, you can add as many seared gauges as you want. In this case I have 4, they are all full and it will use all of them. On this side, the same thing. I have all my casting tables and all my seared drains. And in here, you can see it does all of them at the same time. We now have 10 blocks. One of the reasons I like to do them bigger like this is because when you start getting to the end game, you have a bunch of them. So now I can just click all of these. It's going to make a bunch of blocks. So this is by far the fastest way compared to a furnace. One, you get 2 ingots for each block, as well as the fact that it is smelting all of the ore at the same time, saving you a bunch of time. Okay guys, that is the end of the smeltery. The next thing that we will go into in a later video will be in the materials in U. We will go into the tool production. So in here, there is options for tools, materials, and bow materials, as well as modifiers. If I click on tools, you can see here there are a bunch of different options. So these are custom made tools. So say I click on pickaxe. The pickaxe will take custom parts, but this pickaxe will never break. If it does so break, it will just be disabled, and in which case all we need to do is use a sharpening kit of some kind, and then it will be fully repaired. Next episode, we will be working on a quick tutorial on Botania, since that will be the next thing we will work on in the Let's Play as well. But look forward to a tools episode coming soon. And with that, have a great day.